All right, now let me spend a couple of minutes here on the other controversy, and that is Iowa State, Kansas State, everything going on with that. Welcome into the show. I'm Pete Mundo, Heartland College Sports. Subscribe, by the way, if you're on YouTube or the podcast. Man, this thing is getting ugly. Now, I love when rivalries get really heated, and that's what's happening with Kansas State and Iowa State. Farmageddon always had kind of a feel-goodness to it, like rivalry that's budding. But still, it's both fan bases are very similar, have a lot in common. And I say this as somebody who loves both fan bases. But what's happened this week has created an animosity between these two fan bases that the Big 12 hasn't seen bubble up in a long time in a new way. Like, you follow, you talk to either side of this, K-State or Iowa State, they are now, bitter, very bitter rivals, and it's not ending anytime soon. By the way, side note, this is good for the Big 12, but we'll worry about that another day. That's a big picture conversation. On the micro, here's what's going on. So we know what happened earlier this week, the controversy, Iowa State, Kansas State, coaches Otzelberger and Tang meet at half court. There are some issues there during the game. They talk after the game. People are kind of speculating what's going on. In the press conferences, neither guys talked about it. Then a report came down through the Kansas City Star suggesting that Jerome Tang and his staff were concerned that Iowa State had staffers who were filming their timeouts, who were videotaping or filming on their phones timeouts. They were texting back to the Iowa State bench. That's what came out from the Kansas City Star. That's the first place I saw it. And then, you had on Saturday, Iowa State Athletic Director Jamie Pollard denied it. And then after the game, Otzelberger, he addressed it, and he was livid. And, he was pissed, and he also put out an allegation as well, basically saying that a Kansas State assistant coach, allegedly, he puts here, cursed out one of their student managers who was mopping the floor during a timeout. Otzelberger said, "It's incredibly disappointing that after such an awesome game and an awesome environment, I have to begin by addressing something that happened earlier this week. The ludicrous rumors earlier this week that somehow we were trying to gain an advantage by looking into our opponent's huddles is an affront to our players, our fans, and to me." He said, "It's not who I am. It's not what our program is about. And I'm angry that someone would even make that suggestion." And then he goes on to make the allegation about one of their staff members getting cursed out, or one of the K-State staff members cursing out a student manager who was mopping the floor. I'm not here to pick sides on this. I'm not. I think both fan bases have a point, and both fan bases understandably are going to defend their guy. And then also both fan bases, I think, are acting, at times, and some of them are completely losing their minds. I don't know what happened. This is all he said, she said, and speculation. So K-State fans are saying, hey, Tang hasn't said anything about this publicly. It's now Otzelberger who's taking this to the next level by addressing it publicly. But hold on, Iowa State fans. You think that the leak to the media didn't come from somebody on that staff, whether it's Tang or somebody else? So to say that, well, Tang hasn't addressed it publicly and now Otz has, that's not fair to Iowa State, because clearly the rumor, it was Kellis Robinette that reported it for the Kansas City Star and the Wichita Eagle. He's a good reporter. He's not pulling stuff out of his rear end unless he's got this from a good source. And maybe it's not Tang himself, but he's not getting this from the water boy. So Kansas State preferred to go through the media on this. And that's their prerogative. That's how the game is played. But Kansas State can't just sit there and say, well, we're not addressing this publicly, and now Iowa State is. Kansas State clearly planted the rumor with media, and now Iowa State has to defend itself. I don't blame Iowa State for defending itself publicly when this thing clearly got leaked conveniently. You can't get an Iowa State for that. Now, as to what actually happened, I don't know. None of us really know. right? I mean, people are mad I'm not just automatically defending Iowa State either. Listen, we've seen this in college sports. We just saw it with Michigan and Connor Stallion and that whole thing. That's not to suggest Iowa State did this. But the idea that gamesmanship and trying to get a leg up is impossible and would never happen in college sports, I'm not naive and you're not naive. So the fact that I don't automatically defend Iowa State here, I don't have the facts. I don't think Otz is that kind of coach. I don't. I have no reason to believe that is the case, but I also don't know. So that's why I have taken the approach of staying out of it. I'm not picking a side, and I'm just analyzing it from a distance because I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't, and we don't at Heartland College Sports. We have reported on it. Some Iowa State fans have gotten ticked at us for even reporting on Jamie Pollard and his comments. It's like, wait, what do you? No. That's what we do. We cover the Big 12. Jamie Pollard publicly addressed it, so we're going to write a story about it. And we wrote a news story about it on the site on Saturday. But there are Iowa State fans who are crushing us on our Facebook and Twitter pages saying, you guys are like TMZ. How are we like TMZ? We're literally writing a news story about something the AD said in response to these allegations and accusations. That's not TMZ. That's us reporting and doing our job. Same thing with the Otz story. We wrote it saying TJ Otzelberger said this after the game. That's us doing our job. Be mad at Kansas State, but we're just here covering the Big 12. That's the only thing that we are doing. So, and that's the only thing we're going to keep doing on this until we have the facts that suggest otherwise. That's it. So we're just going to step back and let it play from there.